Hey all, I thought I'd jump on here and talk a little bit today about the current situation and the assassination of Charlie Kirk yesterday, and just the current state of our country. That was one of the most horrific things and acts of violence I believe I've ever witnessed. And for it to be all over Facebook, the video of it, for children to see, most importantly his family and friends. He had a beautiful wife, beautiful children. We're supposed to, in this country, be able to express ourselves, life, liberty, and freedom, right? The right to choose everything. It's a free country. This is America. This isn't North Korea, or we're not living in some third world country. I know that there's certain political people that like to push that Trump's gonna not leave office and all that. At the end of the day, all that's crud. I've never been one to really express my religion, but God's in control, guys. And Charlie Kirk was a believer. He's in a better place. I pray that his family can find some comfort in that. But at the same time, we have to look at his work and his body of work and think about what he was trying to do. And I think that was save the younger generation from themselves, from what's being taught in our schools. It's amazing how these schools are teaching our children to go against their parents, to talk back to their parents, they're entitled to an opinion. A 13-year-old is not entitled to tell their parent that's not fair, or they're not going to do that. That's just the way I was raised when I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. I just turned 40, and it's taken me 37 years to learn this, but I also, the last 25 years or better, 27, 28 years, I can remember back as far as probably 10 years old and watching presidential debates, etc. I have watched our country evolve into just pure evil. It's become pure evil. Do I think Donald Trump is a good president? Absolutely. Do I think that he should hold his tongue at times? Absolutely. But to get killed for speaking what you believe in a so-called free country, and all these people that are speaking it, saying women should have the right to choose, and blacks don't have equality, etc. And I'm not a racist person at all, but every person, black, yellow, green, man, woman, child, etc., in my opinion, are afforded the same opportunity as I am, or the next guy is that became a doctor, or the guy that became the lawyer, or the engineer, or the successful CEO. That's the great thing about America. You have that right? You have the right to go decide to become what you want to be. But instead, and I only know of, I think, one instance where Pelosi's house was broken into, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but they tried to assassinate the Pennsylvania governor. They tried to assassinate Trump. They have assassinated Charlie Kirk, which is just devastating, awful. It's awful, no matter what political affiliation. What was the congressman or speaker that his neighbor broke his ribs? Republican guy. It's almost crazy. Trump gets shot at his golf course. I would love for you, anyone, to point out how many Republicans have tried active violence, or everybody calls it the MAGA movement. How many MAGA people? I know everybody says January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. Do some research on that. Do some real research that CNN or MSNBC doesn't pull out, just and feed you a line of crap. Do some real research on what happened that day, and look at some facts. It's crazy what you'll learn. I don't watch mainstream media. I don't even watch mainstream TV. I just don't. It's all crap. I hate it. I pray for Charlie's family. I pray for my family. I pray for my children. I pray for our country, that things can change and get better. And that you don't get killed speaking for what you believe. I pray that Charlie's legacy lives on through his family, through his friends, through people that cared so much about him. I really pray that for what he was trying to do. That doesn't mean I agreed with every little thing he talked about or debated about. Absolutely not. But I would say 90% of it I did. I was actually having a discussion with my wife about it, and her and I had a disagreement about some of the things last night, and I got pretty worked up. And I think it was more worked up because he had just been shot and killed for what he believed in. And I'm not sure why that made me so emotional. Maybe knowing that the video is all over the place, and his kids are going to get older, and technology is going to continue to evolve, and his children are going to see their dad get shot like that. It's just awful. Guys, we've got to come together as a nation and be better and do better. We have to do better. This is not the country I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 90s. I remember watching Clinton, and I can't remember who he ran against, but I remember watching, George H.W. and George W. Debate. I think it was Gore. A lot of those guys debate, even up until Obama. Really, it was pretty civil, and now we've just turned to, let's kill them. If we can't beat them, we'll kill them. That's to me, it appears the Democrats think that way. If we can't beat them, we'll just kill them. We can't beat Trump, we'll kill him. Biden, oh, he's great. Biden's great. Biden's great. Oh, Biden did horrible at the debate. We're going to throw him away like a piece of trash, Well, if they would have just been honest, if our government would have been honest with us and said, hey, Biden's mental status is declining, maybe Kamala would have had a fair chance, or a good chance, a better chance. But her record speaks for itself. We let all these people in our country, we wonder why prices were rising on everything, and we couldn't get anything done, and the middle class was suffering so bad. Well, here it is. Here we are. It's a terrible situation, and we can only lean on our young people and what we can do right now to change the situation. The Democrats have come out and said, they've created war. They started a war. This is war. They've quoted, there's quotes out there, and I can look up and fact check it, but I know multiple Democrats have talked about the Republicans creating a war, a political war. And then Matthew Dowd going on there and talking about Charlie Kirk speaking up and causing defensive and saying offensive things and all these things, and basically that he deserved to die for what he believed in. Listen, to me that sounds a lot, kind of like Christ died for what he believed in and what he knew, and what, if you read the Gospels, Christ died for a cause. He died to save us and redeem us and make sure that we could all be forgiven. So everybody needs to remember that. We need to remember all the lives lost on 9/11 from the towers and the Pentagon and in Flight 93. All that stuff needs to be. We can't forget what happened. And most of the people that are at these colleges that Charlie was trying to speak to, they don't even remember 9/11 24 years ago. I can remember where I was standing when I first saw it on the news, fixing to leave for school. So these kids that are saying all this stuff and talking about women's rights at Charlie's stuff, they don't even remember what this country's been through. We stood united during 01. We were united as a country. I think that was the last time I've seen this country unite. So I pray that our country unites. I pray that Charlie's family has peace and comfort. I pray for our president. I pray for our world leaders. I pray for my family. I just hope that things improve. And I'll do some more videos on this later. But for now, that's kind of all I got on it. See you guys.